Hi everyone. I want to make a super casual video today, just having a chat about a very geeky, bookish subject, but I thought it would be sort of fun to talk about. So I made myself a big mug of tea with my Golden Girls mug, and yeah, and just have a chat about it. So the subject I want to talk about is where you like to read and when. I mean, you can't get a more like geeky bookish subject than that. But I was sort of inspired to talk about it recently because a recent resolution that my partner and I have is that we've been wanting to read more before bed because we find sometimes we have sleep issues of being able to sleep all the way through the night. And one of the reasons I think for that is like a very modern problem to have of sort of screen time and looking at your phones and looking at screens, and that sort of light and visual stimulation has the problem where it can really affect your sleep patterns. And so to try to combat that, we've been wanting to read before bedtime. But big problem I have with doing that is that I find it really difficult to stay awake for any length of time. If I'm lying down and I get comfortable and start reading, that I will almost immediately start to fall asleep, and I find it really difficult to retain what I've been reading if I'm trying to read in that sort of state. So yeah, I find it really difficult. I know other people really enjoy it and the process of reading before bed, and I think that's probably one of the most common times when people will read during the day is just before bed. And I think it is good. I mean, I think it does help your sleep in that way, but I find it makes it difficult to actually read when I want to remember the contents of what I've been reading. So yeah, I find that struggle of like whether I should continue to read or not doing that. So a sort of compromise I've sort of found, or that we've made with each other, is that I will read aloud to my partner. And I've talked about this before about how I quite often like to read aloud to him because it's just a nice thing to do as a joint thing to do as if you're a big reader, to be able to share that with somebody else rather than just reading completely on your own. So it can make it a sort of joint activity. So we've been trying to do that more often, which is really lovely and good because I find I'm able to stay attentive enough because I'm reading aloud. I have to be paying attention to what I'm reading, but and that'll just naturally keep me awake more until I really start to feel tired. I mean, what happens more often is that my partner will just fall asleep and I'll suddenly notice that I'll have been reading aloud and he'll have been asleep for a while, which is a sort of funny, cute thing. But yeah, and then I'll just sort of go to sleep myself. So that's a sort of nice compromise. But I think my sort of ideal reading time is early in the morning. I'm just a person who naturally wakes up a bit earlier, and I really enjoy that peaceful time in the morning of going around by myself and just feeling like most of the rest of the world is still asleep, but I'm just sort of curled up on the sofa with a book reading. Or I might even, if I'm trying to be more ambitious and up my step count of the year, because I've been trying to up the amount of steps I take in the year and my physical activity, because one of the problems with being a reader is that if you're just laying around reading all the time, you can feel like your body is going to mush. And so I've talked about in past videos of when I made a vlog, about a reading vlog. I think it was for the Booktubeathon or something like that, where I went to the gym, and while I was on the treadmill, I was reading while on the treadmill, and I did a video of myself doing this, and so I found I was able to get a little bit of physical activity. Obviously I wasn't able to walk all that quickly because then I ran the risk of stumbling over and falling while I was reading, walking. But yeah, so I was able to still get some steps in while also reading at the same time. And obviously a safer way to do this would be to listen to audiobooks while reading on the treadmill. And I have been doing that more recently while I'm at the gym, while sort of listening to audiobooks while I've been working out, which sort of kind of works. I mean, I find it less motivational to actually get, I probably more enjoy listening to silly pop music while I'm working out at the gym, just because I need a sort of beat or something that can inspire me to actually, sort of push through and work hard rather than just want to lay back and listen to this audiobook that I'm enjoying. So yeah, so I find it a bit of a struggle sometimes to listen to audiobooks while doing that. But obviously I still like to listen to audiobooks while I'm out walking and during my commute if I'm stuck on a busy train and there's lots of people there and it's hard to hold a book up, that I like to listen to audiobooks while doing that. So, obviously I'm somebody who just reads throughout the day or as much as possible in all those sort of in-between times during the day, which I've talked about before, is how I'm able to get so much reading done because I just try to do it whenever I have time. So yeah, so I mean, really I read throughout the day, but yeah, probably my ideal time is in that morning period before other people wake up and before I have to go to work, when I can just relax and feel like I can be fully attentive and absorb everything that I'm reading, but yeah, sort of have that special alone time. And I know another time that people like to read is in the bath, and there's this sort of, I feel like, romanticized image of somebody reading in the bath and with suds all around them and they're just reading and relaxing. But personally I find that really not relaxing, because it's if you're lying in a bath for a long amount of time, it's quite a hard surface to be lying on and it can get quite uncomfortable. But also if you're reading, then there's the danger of getting your book wet, and I find it really difficult to juggle not getting my hands wet while also holding up the book. And because I'm one of those anal people that like to keep my books in a pristine condition, I don't want to get it wet or have sort of water damage. And so yeah, I'm really against that idea of reading in the bath personally. I mean, if the other people enjoy doing it, that's totally fine, of course, obviously, but yeah, for me, I just really don't enjoy doing that. So yeah, that's my weird rambling thoughts about this subject of where I like to read and when. That's just my personal take on it. But let me know your thoughts where you like to read, and yeah, the sort of ideal conditions that you like to read in, to be able to retain what you're reading and really engage and sink into the story in that way that we readers love to do. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we can have a little bit of a chat. And so yeah, gonna drink my tea now. Okay, speak to you soon. Bye everyone.